Hi,
Hello,
Becky.
hello.
How
This
are
is
you?
fun. I'm doing
Totally.
great. I'm doing great. Thank you, everybody, for joining us this
Of course.
afternoon. It's afternoon already, right? Yeah,
Exactly. It's already
right.
afternoon. Yep.
At least
Exactly.
here on the East Coast, at least it is. Um, well, I'm glad you guys all came out. Today, I was talking with Daniel a little bit earlier and on the week. And I really, I had so many more questions about access bars and
hmm
how it can be used for us in an everyday sort of situations in the real world,
Yeah, exactly.
outside of just what we learn within the course. So
Right.
I said, wouldn't it be great if we sat down and we really talked about the more practical side of access bars and how out after we take the class, after we learn all these amazing tools,
Yep.
what we can do with them and how we can really implement them in our everyday life. So
Amazing
that,
question, by the way.
thank you. So
Yeah.
that's what we're here to do. Okay.
Awesome.
So I'm going to begin. I kind of wanted to do a little interview with you, Daniel, if you're game for that.
Of course. I'm totally game with that.
Okay. So the first thing I wanted to talk about
Uh-huh.
is that access bars, from everything that I know, is a body process. It's primarily a body process, right?
That's correct.
So, what does access bars do for us? Let's talk about it first physically. Like,
Okay.
what does it do physically for us when we do bars?
Okay. Amazing question. So first of all, Access Bars was created and inspired by or downloaded by Gary Douglas, who's the founder of Access Consciousness, right? And I always like to explain one of my favorite quotes by Gary is, if we truly, truly, truly learned how to receive, if we truly learned how to relax, we would actually receive 70% more of what we're really asking for in this world. So, what does that mean? It means that we are so busy in our head trying to figure out things, trying to figure out how things fall into order, how to make things happen, how to do a deal, how to create business, all of that. We're always trying to figure things out. And Gary says if we just relax, we'd actually receive what we're really asking for. So that's the first invitation that the access bars is to me. It is an invitation to truly, truly relax and to receive. Now, on your point about it being a body process, the body process is that there are 32 access points on the head, right? Each one of these places you can imagine is kind of like a pressure point, like an acupressure point. And you want to imagine that our head is kind of like a computer, right? And when your computer, you look at your desktop and it has all of those files everywhere, and you're like, oh my God, this is so crazy. This is so messy. And you begin to one by one put each of those files into the place where they belong, right? And then all of a sudden there's some space and you have some ease and you're like, wow, this feels really, really light to me. This feels so much better. I can breathe now. That's what I think the access bars actually does for us, Becky. It kind of takes all of those files of our life and puts them into the places where they belong so that we have some clarity on some space that kind of really allows us the ability to think, to process information, thoughts, feelings, and emotions, and then to ask questions like, what can we do with all of this? So oftentimes, being in that space of being in our head is not really contributing to what we really want to receive. So that's what the access bars is in a nutshell. Did you ask me how it contributed also?
Yeah, physically. I mean, I know firsthand from doing the class myself that,
Right,
it does indeed put you in a completely relaxed state.
right.
I fell asleep. My husband my husband
Yeah,
fell asleep.
I always
It was
fall.
wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's absolutely wonderful. So energetically though, would you say like it balances you and like how would you say like what the effect is energetically?
Yeah, I would say it definitely balances you, but I think there's something, and again, this is not scientific. Like I'm not giving you scientific evidence. I'm not
Right.
saying any of that. I want to premeditate that. But what it does do for you is it allows you to kind of surrender, right? Because you have your
Mm.
head in somebody's hands. And that space of having your head in somebody's hands just allows you to really surrender, to kind of trust, first of all, that the universe has your back, but also this person who you're giving this hour of your life to, this person also has your back, right? Think about when we were a child and we were nurtured by our parents, our mother, or our caregiver. That feeling of nurturing was something that we clung to, we ran to. I still race to be held by my mom. It's like one of
Mm.
those feelings that there's nothing like it. So imagine that what's happening to your body is it's creating all of those hormones. It's balancing all those hormones, all of the serotonin levels, also the melatonin levels, all those different levels. It's taking your cortisol levels and it's bringing your cortisol levels down. So physiologically, it's contributing a lot of that stuff as well.
Yeah, I like the surrender. I never actually considered that before, but that's exactly what you're doing. It's just you're just releasing and surrendering
Yeah.
yourself over, which is something I need to practice more.
Well, we all do. You're right, honey, and we all do. We all do because, you know, as we grow up, as we get older, and you have 5 children of your own, but as we grow up and as we grow older, one of the things that begins to happen to us is we start to have these judgments and these points of views that I have to do things myself, right? I have to do things myself. And that's all fine and good because it's a survival technique, it's a survival method, but always having the point of view that you have to do everything yourself doesn't really allow much more space for anything else to occur. And if you can absolutely have the point of view that you have to do everything yourself, but what if you have the point of view that you have to do everything yourself and it would be really nice to have some support in the meantime,
Mm.
right? And that support is, you saying, "Okay, here's my head. Take care of me. Allow me to relax into that." So I think it's definitely that surrender moment, saying, you know what, I don't have to do everything right this second. I can allow somebody else to take care of me.
I love that.
Yeah. And also I think it's worth mentioning too, um, the access bars, to learn the process or to become certified in it, you can have a session with one of the thousands and thousands of access bars practitioners all over the world, which is absolutely something that you can look up on the accessconsciousness.com website. So you can have a session, you can book a session, you can pay for a session, or you can actually show up to a swap where you can gift and receive it, right? And Gary says that the either way, you're getting the same benefits. Whether you're the person who's gifting it or whether you're the person that's receiving it, you're also receiving the benefits. And so that's why we highly recommend that you take the class. The Access Bars class it's a day-long course. It's day-long meaning like 6 to 8 hours depending on how long your lunch break is. And it's like, let's just call it an 8-hour course. It's an 8-hour course, and in the course you'll spend the first half hour learning about tools of access consciousness. So you'll have that time, and then we actually go through a video that shows you where the bars are, what points they are on your head, and then you will have your first exchange. So somebody will get on the table, on the massage table, and they will do the bars for you, and then you will switch. Okay, then you break for lunch and then you go back and you do it again. So in every Access Bars class, you have the opportunity to receive four times this
Mhm.
incredible process. You're gifting, you're receiving, you're gifting, you're receiving. So you have the opportunity to experience this 4 times during that class. That in and of itself is worth the price of admission alone.
Amazing. So, another question that I had
Yeah.
was I wanted to talk about how when the class is done,
Uh-huh.
right? You have the tools, you have the know-how. How do you use this in your everyday life? Like how can we implement access bars into our everyday life? What sort of situations need to come up that, that would be like perfect fix for bars?
Fantastic question, because I always like to tell couples, if you want to change your marriage, you want to change your relationship, come take an Access Bars class together. Because then once you take the Access Bars class together, you've both learned how to do the process. And then you can learn to make sure that you gift and receive with each other once a week. Okay. So, first of all, it brings people together. Okay. Now, that's not always what happens. Usually one person will come and the other person won't. And then people say to me, okay, I know this amazing technique, but I have nobody to do it with. I have nobody to practice it with. What can I do for myself? And the answer to that question is number one, all the tools that you learned in the Access Bars class are tools that you don't need somebody else to use with you. We go through the access clearing statement. We go through the access mantra. We incorporate all these things that contribute to your well-being, to your balance, to your harmony. Number one. Number two, we give you kind of like, I call it a cheat sheet of the bars that you can actually run on yourself, right? So for example, Gary suggests if you like, let's say you're a person. Let me ask you, Becky, what kind of movies trigger you? What
Oh,
movie?
horror movies. I
Horror
don't like
movies,
horror
right?
movies. Yeah.
Okay, so what we know to be true is that anything that pings you in that way is something that you have a relationship to in either this lifetime or a past lifetime. Okay? Again, guys, we're not making this significant. It doesn't matter whether you do or you don't believe in past lives. It's irrelevant. But that energy that comes up from you watching a horror movie is something that, let's say, could use dissipation, could use clearing, could use melting, as we also like to use, right? So if you put on a horror movie that scares the living daylights out of you, and you sit there and you run what we call your implant band, which is this one right here, this bar right here. If you run your implant band and you just sat there during the movie running this particular band, and then maybe you're also doing a couple of others that you can actually access on your own, when you're doing that, it will actually take the energy that comes up from watching the movie and it will begin to dissipate it. And once it begins to dissipate it,
Ooh.
it starts to create more ease in your life. And before you know it, you love horror movies and you didn't even know you loved horror movies.
Ooh, I like that. Can I use that like on phone calls too? Like if I'm on the phone with something and it's a stressful call, like I can
Yeah.
kind of have like the same thing going on too.
That's an amazing, amazing question and an amazing awareness because we are actually one of the platforms that we're streaming to right now is LinkedIn. And I was just talking about with somebody else, a professional, right, about what that means in terms of bringing this kind of work, bringing consciousness, bring relaxation to the workplace. And I said to this person, I said, you should take the Access Bars class. And they said, what will it do for me? And I said, well, it'll teach you to relax. And she was like, I need that now. And I said, okay, I'll give you one tool that you can do right now. And what do you have coming up today that's stressing you out? And she's like, well, I have this conference call. And I said, well, first of all, is it on Zoom? And she goes, no, it's just a call. I said, great. And I said, do you have a space where that you could actually take the call laying down or relaxed or whatever? And she's like, yeah. She's like, I'm working from home today and it would be easy. I said, great. So take the phone. So lay down, take the phone, put it on your heart and sit there and run this bar right here behind your ears, right? This bar right here is so powerful for locking in all that energy that we get reactive about. And I said, just put it on speaker or put your earphones on and just lay there and run this bar while you're doing it. And she was like, oh my God, that's such a great idea. Now I haven't heard back from her. Her meeting was at 2:00 today. So she's like, I'm going to try it. So yeah, absolutely. We can use it during conference calls. We can use it, you have young children. Like if you are sitting there and the kids are watching TV or something, you could run a few of your own bars as well. Or because your husband also took the class, he knows the bars. The greatest contribution is to be able to exchange on each other. My partner Guillermo and I, we always exchange. Not enough. We would like to do it more. But we always have the ability to be able to say, hey, you want to exchange bars? And it's always a yes, I can't wait. And it's just this melting of energy that is like so beautiful. So you can
That's
use it.
amazing.
Yeah.
I was going to actually talk, you kind of hit on a few things with me because I was actually going to talk about how bars helped with relationships and work
Yeah.
situations. I know because of my husband taking bars with me, it's such a great contribution to our relationship. Not only just we were able to kind of serve each other. You know what I mean? To care for each other in
Yeah.
that way. When he's stressed out or having a bad day, I'm able to, run bars for him.
It's
And
beautiful.
what it's able to do for him physically and mentally is just tremendous. And to know that I could care for him that way or be that conduit for him and he can do that for me as well. It brings you really closer together.
Yes, it
And
absolutely does.
yeah, it really solidifies that bond between people, which is absolutely amazing. And
That's
yeah,
all.
and so you touched about how that can help in the workplace too. So
Yeah. I
um,
I think I think also, one of my dreams, I'm just putting it out there, is I would love to go to corporations, and I would love to have like a group, what do you call it? Like a team building day in which
yeah,
we taught people how to run bars. And then every week, each person in your office committing to taking those two hours out of the week to actually gift and receive bars for someone. So you would actually say, okay, you know what? Um, this is my bars time. I'm taking this time. I'm going to do this. I'm going to work on this. And I think people would actually see, I think that bosses, I think that business owners, I think that all of those people would start to see the improvement in their workplace exponentialize because people are relaxed. People are able to receive more. They're able to do more when they're relaxed. When we're so busy and so stressed, we're not really as productive as we are when we're relaxed. And that's something that I think we would like to really kind of contribute and teach everyone, you know?
mhm. Another thing that actually just kind of popped up for me,
Mhm.
it was something that came up for me while we were doing the class. Is speaking of relaxation,
Yeah.
is that while I was learning the bars, I felt like this overwhelming need to sort of like rush through them. Like there was some sort of like, okay, you can't stay too long at one area. You have to kind of move through the process
Right.
really fast. And so me slowing down
Uh-huh.
was something that I really kind of had to challenge myself to do. So typically speaking, like what you've experienced, how long is a typical bar session? Just to kind of like get the feel of like how relaxed this process actually is, because it should be relaxing both for the person that's receiving it and for the person that is running the bars, correct?
Absolutely. Also a great question. I I had that awareness too when I first took the class. I was like, how long am I supposed to spend on each bar, right? But with experience, you start to get a feel of energy, right? And what I've started to notice is that when somebody's coming to have their bars run for the first time, when they're coming to have their bars run for the first time, it oftentimes will take longer. Sometimes it can take an hour and a half to run their bars because it's the first time that you're kind of like giving them permission to relax and unwind. And then I have other people who, like, for example, I'm living in a house now where I run someone's bars probably 3 or 4 times a week because it just contributes so much to her. And so when I do it, it's like each session is maybe 45 minutes, right? Because she does it so often and so regularly. To answer your question about a prescribed time, there is no prescribed time. But what I like to do is I like to tune into my energy. And I like to say, okay, am I feeling anxious here? Like as the gifter, am I feeling anxious here? Okay, who does that belong to? Because that's probably somebody else's. It's probably that person who's on your table. And I then ask, okay, so how can I really, really be a contribution to this person? And how can I be present with this person? Because if we're thinking about how long we should spend on each bar, we're not really being present with the energy, right? We're
Mhm.
getting caught up in, oh, am I going to get through this? Oh, am I going to make my next session? Oh, am I going to do this? Oh, am I going to do that? And so all of that energy is taking us out of the present. So if we just allow ourselves to be completely present with the person or ourselves, and we just ask the energy to show us when it's done, then when we invite that awareness to come in, then we will know. It will be very, very apparent to us. It will say, okay, move on to the next one, move on to the next one, move on to the next one. And it's just practice, you being so present in your knowing that you're allowing that to happen.
Yeah. Also, what is kind of like, I always questioned too, like how often should you run bars? Like have your bars run, like to just kind of like just for an overall great sense of well-being. Is
Yeah.
it something that doesn't need to be done all the time, or is it something that is like is more beneficial if it's more frequent?
Listen, I did a challenge last year with my friend Penelope. We did a 21-day challenge. And in the challenge, it was a run your bars for 21 days and see how different it becomes. And she did it. I'm gonna say I wasn't able to do it. I didn't allow myself to make the space to make it able to do it. I had a lot of excuses, but she did it and I saw such a tremendous difference in her. Like from each time that we exchanged together, I saw a tremendous change in her, a tremendous shift in her. And again, once a week, once a month, once whatever, once a day, whatever feels the lightest to you. I'm in the process of finding other bars practitioners and bars facilitators in Mexico City that I can build. I want to build a regular exchange, right? Like do a once a week bars exchange where everybody comes to one location. We do a bars exchange. We have opportunity there. And I think it would be such a contribution. So whatever feels light to you, you know?
Okay.
I think the more
So
the merrier.
so you have a bars class coming up, is that right?
I do. I have a bars class that is going to be live in Mexico City. That's another thing people like to ask. They like to say, "Do I have to be there live?" And the answer is no, you don't have to be there live. But if you do take the class and you are taking it online, you must take it with someone else. So here in Mexico City on February 20th at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time, I'm giving a bars class in the neighborhood Cuyocan, right down the street from Frida Kahlo's house. You can come and you can take the bars, you can exchange the bars with somebody live and in person. We'll have massage tables there and blankets and all that good stuff. Or if you want to take it online, then you can register, but you have to register 2 people at once. And you
Okay.
have to also indicate who you're registering with. If you're going to do it online, when you go to register, you have to ask who you're going to do it with. So that's important. And then the other thing too that I think is really worth mentioning with that is, um, you know, don't judge yourself, right? A lot of people like to judge themselves about, well, I don't know if I can do it. I don't know, whatever. If you're listening to this and it feels light to you, just Google it. Find a bars class that's close to you. Who cares? We're promoting it to promote mine, obviously in Mexico City, but it doesn't matter. Just get your bars run. Get your bars run, and then come take a foundation class with me.
Oh, foundation class. What's that? Is that that's the thing that somebody would do after bars?
Exactly. And that's probably one of the biggest questions that people ask, Becky. They say, okay, I have this amazing access bars technique. What else can I learn that's going to contribute to my life? Because people say that one of the greatest contributions from the access bars class are the access consciousness tools, right? And so the foundation class is a 4-day, or sometimes they do it online in 5 days or 6 days. It's basically a 4-day event. It's a 4-day class. I call it an experience because it's hard to call it a class. You've taken it a few times.
Yeah.
It's like actually, let me just ask you, what's the biggest thing that you got from your foundation class? How did it contribute and change your life?
I think I had a breakdown after my foundation class, but like in the
Yep.
best possible way.
Yeah.
It opened up so much for me.
Yeah.
It really kind of blew my mind. It opened up so much for me. It took me a few days to really fully process it. But after I was able to process everything that I learned, oh my God, there was such an ease in my life. There was such this sense of just finding relaxation and ease
Yeah.
and more the ability to be more present with my
Right.
kids and more patient with my kids. It That's what I really noticed the most, is that my family actually started receiving me differently because
Right.
they recognized the change, and so did my friends. They were just like, "What happened to you? Like, you're just you're different. There's something so different about you." And yeah, I mean,
Yeah, it
really
is.
hard to put into words.
Well, exactly. It is very hard to put in words, and that's why I put it on you. Because the biggest way to describe the class is that, and that's why we call it the foundation, is that it really, really, really destroys the foundation with which you have built your life on. And most of us have built our life on a bed of quicksand. Think about it. How often in our lives are we creating something and then it's taken away from us, or that we lose control, or it's like a roller coaster. And this class, the foundation class, for me was really the biggest game changer of my life. And also my career. I mean, it set me on a different career path, because as soon as I took it, I said, I have to facilitate this class. I have to facilitate this class. So now I facilitate it like once a month. And actually, we have a foundation class coming up on your birthday, Becky, February
Oh,
24th through February 27th. And that's at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time or 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And you can take that online or in person. And the only prerequisite for that is the access
access
bar class.
bars.
Exactly.
Yay.
So go take an access bars class wherever you are at in the world. If you're in Mexico, or if you want to do it with me live, please join. And then we can do the foundation class. It'll be super fun. How does it get even better than that?
Exactly. What else is possible? Well,
What?
thank you so much
Becky,
for
thank you.
you're
You're an
welcome.
amazing contribution, an amazing gift. And thank you for the questions that you ask. I feel like you really, really represented a lot of people and a lot of people's questions about what the bars are. So thank you.
I hope I so. So have a beautiful day, everybody.
Have a beautiful
Thank
day,
you so
everyone.
much.
Thank you so much for being here, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye, guys.